Hey guys, what is up? Nicholas here, aka Amity. Today I decided to come forth with a nice tutorial on how to use Cinema 4D to create a scene for your logo that you're going to export into Photoshop for your banner. And a little bit about modeling and texturing as well. As you can see right here, what I have so far is what I'm going to be putting on the banner very soon. I haven't finished it yet, but I decided that I would do this sort of tutorial and show you how I did it in Cinema 4D. It gives you a little bit of everything that you should know, texturing, modeling, as well as lighting and rendering. Hopefully you guys will enjoy and learn some new things. I know some editors who do not understand how to texturize or light properly, and this will help you as well. Alright, so first thing we're going to need is, I used a logo. We can always use text, motext, whatever you want to use. I'm going to merge it with with what I actually use. Let's use this logo I created for a gaming channel. Alright, so now we got to set up a scene. It really took me a while to figure out how I want to set a scene like that up, and it's because you gotta understand what you want to do. So I just started rotating it around a bunch, trying to figure out what I needed to do, and I decided that this would probably be the best thing for me, and that is how my awesomeness was born. No, but seriously, so I'm gonna just extrude it from the top, bring it up. I don't really know why I said it extruded from the top. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But yeah, so I'm about 18 depth. That's pretty decent. And I'm gonna bring these two back up. Alright, so now just so I like this kind of viewpoint, right about here, just kind of rotate it down a little bit. And click your camera right here so it will stick there, and then I can move around and do some more things at will. Yeah, I like that. That's nice. Okay, so yeah, that's good. So next thing I decided to do was to do bullets. So hopefully you guys do know how to model. If not, I will help you through this right now. So we're going to bring this cylinder up. You get the cylinders out where the Q bar right here is. Get the cylinder out, and we're going to do a shell casing first. Alright, so I'm going to make this a little smaller, bring the height down. You got to remember that you're going to be building this to kind of scale in comparison with your logo or motext. So you don't want it to be too big, but you also don't want it to be too small. So I think that's about right. That's pretty fine with me. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so let's add some height subdivisions because we're going to have to model a few things, so we don't want to screw up and add no subdivisions or such. Alright, so in order now, you can click C to let it become editable, or you can hit up this icon up here. Then you go down to, let's go down to face. So just in case you don't know, you can edit polygons by their vertexes, their edges, or their faces. So we're going to go to select up here and decide how we want to do our selection. I'm going to use loop selection. So we're going to click on the top face. We're going to extrude inner, and we're going to extrude inner to right about there. It's really preference right there, and then I'm going to bring it all the way down to a good distance down, I think. Let's bring it all the way down to about here. Yeah, alright, so there's my shell casing so far. Now, if you ever look at a shell casing, that's not what it looks like. So if you need to, I do not have internet right now, so I can't show you a picture of a shell casing, but I'm sure you can figure it out and look it up on Google. So I'm going to I'll take this part right here. I'm going to extrude it on the inside. Don't want to go too far so it shows the other extrude, but I'm going to extrude it right about there. Yeah, that's fine right there. Alright, so I'm going to loop a selection on this right here. Choose the bevel tool, bring it down a little bit right about here maybe. Yeah, you really have to just learn the tools and kind of figure it out, and then I'm going to bring my arrow down. Alright. So now I'm going to ring selection these two bottom parts, and I'm just going to delete it right there. Alright, so that we can get the effect that this thing right here is actually beveling down. So let's bring it down. And you can kind of see that it is actually beveling down. It's not at the huge scheme that I wanted, so I'm going to actually go back really fast. Alright, and then we're going to bevel this a little bit more so that it's a little bit easier to see. It's more obvious, you know. There. So I'm going to delete that now. Oops. My bad. Did not mean to do that. Alright, there we go. So we quickly beveled that. I have a little thing here showing up. My bad. I'm going to delete that out. Alright, so now we have an obvious bevel right there. You can see it. If you want to render it out, you're going to see that kind of curves into it. Usually it would be much more curved. You are welcome to curve it down much more. It's really personal preference at this point. If you believe that that's what you should do, then you should do it. I'm doing this off memory of a shell casing, so it's not going to be as well formed as one of yours might. Alright, so now at the end, if I can remember correctly, you're going to want to extrude this, because in a shell casing, oops, there is a little extrude at the bottom, and it has the copyright, the patent rather, and everything else. And you can kind of see that, yeah, see? You can kind of see how the shell casing kind of makes its own little thing there. It's very beautiful. It's a very nice shell casing, actually. I think I did better than the first time. And if you look at a shell casing design, this is probably about how kind of the bottom would look a little bit. It might not be as rounded up there, but you know, if you want, you can also take the time to model it further and add a text to it, a patent, whatever, engrave it inside. You're welcome to do that. That would definitely make it look better. It's really personal preference right now. So, and my personal preference right now is that I do believe that we may have a little too much right here, so I'm going to delete that. Yeah, alright. I'm going to take that, I'm going to extrude it outward a little bit so that we still have it. Yeah. Alright, so there we go. There is the casing I'm going to use. It's a quick casing, so don't judge my C4D skill on that. But it's a nice casing, in my opinion. I think it's a decent casing. Alright, so now if you ever see a casing, there's usually a bullet in it. So let's copy the cylinder, Control C, then paste it, Control V. And from there, we're going to do probably an oil tank. Yeah, let's use an oil tank. Alright, so I'm going to switch views and go into this so I can kind of put it properly in it, get it really in there. Alright, so there we go. Oops, a little bit too far in. Alright, so let's bring this up a little bit. So bring the height down, the radius down as well. And let's bring it up. Alright, it's looking good. Looking good. So, height segment. We don't really need to worry too much about that. Just keep it at a decently low amount. We're not going to have to use it much. And I'm going to put the cap height all the way up to 6. Actually, yeah, let's put it all the way to 6. Then cap segments. About 12. Alright. So the easiest way to create the bullet effect that I have ever that I've noticed is to actually just put it into a quick group so you don't upset any of those things if you create an edible object or anything. And then just to increase the Y scale. Increasing the Y scale is going to make it this nice little kind of like a lipstick effect, but it's also used for bullets, and I think that's actually quite nice. I think it's nice. So I'm going to go back and make this edible, C, and we're going to go back to faces, live selection, loop selection, and I'm going to just quickly bevel this in. Just make a little bevel action. Extrude inner first, then I'm going to bevel. And there we go, just to have a little effect on it. Alright, so there we have our two bullets, a bullet and 2 casings rather. And I think it looks quite nice. I would think that you guys could do much better if you gave time to it. I know I can, but this is also a very basic video for you guys. Alright, so next we're going to be on to texturing, because we don't want to put all these in place and then be like, oh shit, I forgot to texture it. So you're going to go to Google. I can't draw up Google right now because I do not have internet at this point. But you can take up Google, look for, I believe these are made out of brass, so that's what I chose. And you're going to go find where you put the brass. Here's my brass right here. And there it is. You're done. No, I'm just joking. Alright, so specular, you're going to want to deselect it. We're going to be using GI and ambient occlusion, which specular is only used to create somewhat kind of shadowy objects, only in the normal render without GI or ambient occlusion. Personally, because we're doing cylinders, I do like to see how it kind of looks on it. So I'm going to right click up here on the object and go down to cylinder GI. And that's what I like to see. And then there's soft shadow, and you can see what it looks like there. That's kind of like the basic outlook. And then I'm going to go to displacement. I'm going to add in a noise, just one noise. I'm gonna add, I can't remember what I used. I believe it was dense. Yeah, I'm gonna put it up to about 300 global scale. Alright, and then I'm gonna bring it down to about, it's really preference when you do some of this, alright, but I'm probably gonna bring it back to about 9. 9's fine, 9 or 6. It's really preference than what you're trying to achieve. Like if it just bang, it just came out of the bullet just came out of the shell casing, then that's what you should use, something like that. Alright, so now I'm going to go back to color. I'm going to click copy channel. You're going to click this arrow next to your texture and then copy channel. Then we're going to go to bump, hit the arrow again right here, and then we're going to paste the channel. So that's just adding a little bump to your text. I mean, you can see the difference when you put the strength up and such. Alright, and that's about what you're going to have to do. I'm going to add a reflection, so you're going to go to reflection, texture, and then for now, don't really have to do anything else after that. I'm just going to put it on add. Actually, no, I'm just going to put it on normal. It really depends on preference. And then, sorry I'm saying everything depends on preference, but it really does. Alright. I'm going to bring the brightness down. I'm going to bring the Fresnel down as well. And as long as it does give me a little bit of a reflection, I'm going to be happy. Because it should have a slight reflection on it. Alright, so there it is. That's going to be our shell casing right there. Alright, not bad, not bad. Alright, so I didn't actually notice this, but now I do. This is actually sticking into it a little bit. Oops. Yeah, make sure you're on this cube thing when you try to move an object. Alright, just right there. Alright, so there we are. There's our cylinders, and as you can see, they're looking okay. They don't look terribly good because we're not using GI or any of that, but we will soon. Now we're gonna have to make the bullet texture. Alright, so again, you're gonna want to try to find a bullet texture that you would like. Mine is right here. Alright, so and then I'm going to, I don't really like the texture that much. That's what I had. So I'm gonna make this onto a layer. And then I'm going to change, I'm going to be changing the color. So let's put a nice, more of a pink color in there, maybe. Not a pink, but more palish color. And that's mainly what I'm going to choose as a color. And we're going to be adding that. So it's still going to be that, but it's just going to be adding a slight color difference to it. Alright, now we're going to go back to reflection as well. We're going to do the same thing, put it about there, add a Fresnel, same thing, bring it down a little bit, and there we go on that one as well. It is a cylinder. I'm going to put on GI cylinder just so I can kind of get the kind of view for what it's going to be doing. Displacement, we're going to be doing the same thing as before. Going to add a noise, and what kind of noise is up to you. I'm going to put dense once again. Going to put it onto about a 300 global scale. That's just what I generally put on it. I do change it when necessary. And as you can see, it's displacing. And I think that's about fine right there. Alright, and we're going to add one last bump. So let's copy the channel in color. Going to go to bump, paste the channel. So that's just a little texturing right there. We already took off specular, and now we can add it right to that. And as you can see, you can always see it's already a different kind of gradient color. So render it out, quick preview image. Decent, not amazing, but it gets the job done in here. It's going to look much better when we're in GI. Alright, so now it comes to positioning where you want your bullets and such. Last time I did this kind of effect, I used nuts and screws, and I put it all around, and I actually had it coming out of it, but we can't really do that with bullets. So let me just put this in here so I know which one it is. Alright, so here we go. I'm gonna put this right here. I'm gonna actually have it like so it looks like it's rolling down. So it's kind of rolling down the object. So there we go. It kind of looks like it's just touching on it and rolling down. And this, I'm actually just going to keep it right there and just rotate it a little bit. So there we go right there. So let's copy this, move it to a kind of position that you want. I'm actually going to go back in my camera mode so that you can see where it is, you know. So I'm going to rotate it right over here actually. And a cool effect that I discovered, because I'm doing this for a friend and he suggested it, is that you can do more of it in After Effects, but basically to get the bullet out of the shell casing, so you can make a kind of thing where it looks like it's popping out at you, you know? So let's actually rotate this a little bit more. Oops. not the kind of rotating I'm going to want to do. But let's rotate it a little bit more, bring it out. And we're going to take the oil tank out more. And there you go. So there. Alright, now, oops. So now you're going to want to add more of these kind of random places, not where you'd expect them, and just where you can easily see them, you know, and where they fit. Really, you don't want to put them somewhere where it just doesn't really make sense. But then again, random isn't supposed to make sense. It's just supposed to make sure that it looks decently good. Alright, so let's add that right there. You want to make sure that's not going to be halfway in, you know. Maybe just on the fly. And oops. So that is what you have right there. There's more you can do, but that's gonna be left up to you to actually do, because I'm not going to show you all my secrets and tricks, you know. So I keep hitting save because I'm used to doing them, sorry. But so yeah, that's basically it right there. Doing the texturing, the materialing for that. Now it's going to be coming up to doing your logo and trying to make it look as professional and neat as possible. So what I did, I created a bullet and I had it going and penetrating through these so that these were shattered with Throssi, and this was just beginning to be shattered, and I kind of rotated the pieces so that you could see that the bullet was actually going right through. So let's do that right now. It's actually in a good position. Here we go. Put it right about there. Alright, now we're going to bring it up a little bit like that so that it looks a little bit bigger. Kind of perspective wise, you want to get a good perspective on it. Alright. So now you can see it's kind of going through right there, and that's pretty good. It looks good. Alright, I'm gonna save this so I can just keep saving. Alright, so desktop tutorial, just so in case something crashes on me or something. Alright, so now with this lovely baby, we're going to start texturizing our logos. So basically, I'm going to create another texture. Let's create just a spear with the GI. Actually, object GI. I just think it looks neater. I'm gonna use a gray, a darker gray, something that doesn't look too bad, but it looks good. Give it a very, very slight reflection. You do not want to over reflect anything in Cinema 4D. Unless it's really supposed to be, you know. It's not something you want to do. Now we're going to give a noise to the displacement. It's all based on what your opinion should be. I'm going to put on turbulence for your displacement, alright? That's going to be my preference right here. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. You don't want it too much. Alright. Then you're going to add a bump. I'm again going to add a noise for that. I'm going to add dents for that one and bring it down a little bit, right about here. So that's what I'm going to do for this one. It's really simple. It's pretty easy to understand. It's a simple texture right here. So I'm going to put that on my first one. I'm also going to put it on my third one. And let's render it out, see how it looks. You can see the reflections. It's a little bumpy. It's not terrible. It's nice. Alright. So, and then I'm also going to put this one on. But I'm going to stretch it out by using the length V. so that it fits a little bit more. Alright, I'm going to put the black over it. So as you know, we're going to be using Throsy soon, so that's what we're going to be doing that for. Alright, now for here, I want to just put this in right here. Alright, and then put do the opposite of what we did for the first one. So we're going to stretch this out as well once again, just a little bit, and we're going to put the black texture, we made the grayish texture right before it. And then lastly we have this, and I'm actually going to duplicate it, and I'm going to create a fillet for this one, because this is the one that's just about to be broken, so it's not exactly broken yet, so it could use a nice little fillet. Alright, and I'm going to use this same material, but I'm going to make it a slightly grayer, like lighter gray for it. I'm going to use that on this texture. So there we go, right there. So we're going to render it out. This is about what it's going to look like. Before I use Throsy, let's look how it looks in GI. I'm actually going to merge this with the Lightroom I used. Alright, so let's there's the actual render I used for the other one that I did. So you can actually see that here. And let's just delete that real fast. It's not going to be fast for me. Alright, and so here is our Lightroom. Now quickly I'm just going to group all of this together so I can take it all up at once and put it right there, so that it's going to get a nice little light shining on. It's really actually nice. Alright, so now we're going to go to output. I believe I prefer to render at higher resolution because I do have 12 gigs of RAM and I have a decent processing computer. But for you, it'd probably be 1024, 768, because most of you guys have a lower amount of RAM and won't use as high quality things as I would. But it's still high quality. I just try to put mine at like much higher settings, especially if I want it on a bigger resolution. So I'm just gonna put on 1440 by 900 right now. Actually, no, I'm still gonna keep it up at 920 by 1200. Multipass, I would use it. Well, you don't have to. It really depends on the Lightroom. I'd use what your Lightroom is designed for. Mine is designed for multipass. Anti-analyzing, I put it on best, 2x2, and then 4x4. Everything else, just don't touch it. Option stereoscopic, just don't touch those things really unless you know how to use it. Ambient occlusion, pretty much just keep it the same. Global illumination, the only thing I'm going to suggest to change is to go to the GI mode and then click IR plus GMC, still image. Alright, so there we are, we're about ready to render. Alright, so I will start it back up when it's done rendering. It should only take about a minute. Okay guys, so here it is, it's just about done rendering. As you can see, the shadows are pretty good using ambient occlusion as well as GI to create better images. So overall it's pretty good, it looks nice, so I am happy doing Throsy with it right now. So let's go into Throsy. Let's hold on to these two. Actually, hold on to all three of these. Gonna go to plugins, go to your Throsy. It's a free plugin. All you have to do to find it is just type it on Google or YouTube and you'll be able to get it for free for whatever version you have. I have R13. Alright, so we're going to go to Voronoi. That's what I prefer to use. I'm going to put in 15. Randomize is okay. I don't always use it, but I'm going to use it right now. And we're just going to click break. Alright, so it shouldn't take too long. Sometimes it does. I have actually broken things with up to 60 pieces to create a really nice effect. So don't be discouraged when it takes a while if you don't have too high of a RAM speed. Alright, so there it is, it's all done. Now, instead of going straight to MoGraph and then effector and then random, I'm only going to choose one at first. So we're going to choose the first one. I'm going to go to effector, random, and then we're going to start that, put it up. Oops. And then here it is, it's broken. So there's our first one. I'm just going to move it a little bit differently. So that's about what I'm going to do with that. You can edit more in the random tab to put it into a better, proper position. Then we're going to go back to MoGraph, effector, and then random for our second extrude NURBS thoraci. And let's bring that down a little bit more because you got to remember that this one isn't as cracked as the other one. So this one just got cracked. And now it's starting to come up to this last one. So we're going to go back to MoGraph, effector, and then random. And also you guys should play around with these and learn how to use them. They are all really cool tools to use, so you will enjoy having fun with these. But we're going to go with random right now. And we do not want it too big, alright? We don't want it to be this huge explosion going on here. We want minimalistic cracks. So let's bring it down right about here. And then we're actually going to go into the extrude NURBS and we're going to find the piece that we want. That's right about, oop, I just had it. Here it is. Here's one of the pieces and we're just going to rotate it. Oops. Going to rotate it upwards like it just got shoved out. Just got a little shoved out. Now I gotta find the other two pieces, this one as well, and this we're actually going to break across, up, bring it up a little bit, and we're going to just kind of shove it in there a little bit to create a nice little effect that it kind of got moved out of place. As well as I want to hit this whole thing, but fortunately I can't. You gotta kind of find these pieces by hand, which is actually really annoying. And lastly, we're just gonna put this kind of rotated a little bit and put it up a little bit like that, like so. And we want to kind of keep it within the outline here, so that shows that this one wasn't as broken as these two were just broken, you know? So there we are, and you can see that the bullet is just penetrating right through, and that's a good thing. I'm really glad we got that nice effect going right there. So let's go back to camera. We're gonna render preview and I will put it back as soon as it finishes. See you guys then. Alright guys, so here it is. It's just about fully rendered and it looks pretty nice. Overall, I really like how it came out, and this is really your basic render right here. I mean, it's pretty nice, it's basic render, it's a nice texturization, and from there you can now render it out, save it to wherever you want, make sure you put it as a PNG, and then put alpha channel on. Otherwise, without alpha channel, it will not be transparent, the background, alright? Once you do that, you can put it into Photoshop, and from there you will easily just change the render settings, and not the render settings, you'll change how it looks, make it look nice, and then you can put it into your banner from there. A lot of cool things you can do in Photoshop, and there's so many new things to do. I really suggest that you check out the filters and learn how to use those more, because some people don't use them as much as they should. They try to just put smokes and flares and things on there, but really, like, it's really useful to use the filters as well as the overlays. It's almost equally important. Alright, anyway guys, I hope this was a good tutorial. Please like it, it helps me out more than you can know. If you have any other tutorial ideas that you'd like me to do, please comment down. If you enjoyed it, comment down. I really would like to know what you thought about this tutorial. I'm sorry it was about 35 minutes long, but this is what you need to know. This is something new that you guys should learn. You know, kind of new scene setting up. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Please stay tuned for the next video. Peace out.